What's up, everybody? Back with another episode 13 tonight. Lucky number 13. I just realized something. It's episode 13, and the Super Bowl is this Sunday. And guess whose lucky number is 13?
Me.
The quarterback of the 49ers.
Taylor Swift.
Oh man.
No, I am nowhere.
Isn't Purdy 13?
I thought Purdy was 13, man.
He is. That's like the best part about everything is that I think I've seen like Instagram reels and meme videos of like Taylor Swift talking about the number 13, and then she's like 13
and then
just
it
a
cuts
good,
to him.
and then it's him. Yeah. So okay, sorry. Maybe I should just restart that beginning, but yeah, let me can I restart that real quick? I just like
roll it. Let's roll it.
It's your podcast. I'm just here.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll just roll with it then. Hey, yeah, welcome to the episode 13, guys. We are going to talk about a lot of different things going on right before the Pro Tour starts in about 2 weeks. We got All-Star Weekend coming up next weekend. Who's excited for All-Star Weekend?
My favorite weekend in disc golf. It's the most exciting by far.
The worst. We'll get a chance. We'll get a chance to talk about that at the end. But what's going on? Where is everybody? What's going on in the world of disc golf? Matt, where are we?
Not much. Signing up for a couple tournaments in the next couple weeks. Having fun. It's warm enough to actually play out. Working on some distance drivers. So I'm actually very happy with my game right now.
What do we have? What are we working with right now? What do we like?
Wraiths and eras. I think I've figured those out. So I feel like Wraiths skip a little more. Era feels really just like a fairway to me. So I think fairway, era for my distance shots, or like my like in between shots, and then if I really need to go all out, a Wraith really flat or on a touch of Annie is just moving for me. So it's a W.
How much farther does the Wraith go than the era?
Not that much. Not that like I think I could.
Yeah. I would say I feel like the era is such a good example of a disc that like goes as far as a distance driver, but with a lot more control. Like that thing just has so much glide.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I think that I could probably get similar distances. I'm just going to get maybe a little more skip or a little more of other stuff going on with the Wraiths. But I think they're both going to be there just for those facts after I've figured it out a little bit.
Sick. Taylor, what about you, man? I just want to say something about. I'm going to say something about Taylor. Taylor's been putting out a lot of content lately.
Shorts every day.
Except
for Saturday and Sunday because I don't want to. I played Sunday, and my guy WB Cam in the chat, we played together, and I witnessed his first ace, and probably I'm 99% sure the first ace on that hole because the course is pretty new, but super sick. That's awesome. Little zone forehand, got a little nick off a tree and just smacked the chains, and would have been in a swamp if it didn't. So it was pretty sick.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. So shout out Eric.
Can I admit something real quick? I've been playing for 3 years, still don't have an ace.
That's tough, dude.
If you want to talk about aces, I got my first one in 2012. I was playing for maybe 3 years, and then it took me 10 more years to get my second one.
Oh my gosh, don't tell me.
I got my first ace in 2022, I think it's 2 years ago now, and I started playing in 2008. So
oh my gosh,
tough one.
Well, the thing is, you see all these guys are like the pros will be like, oh, like when they get an ace, they'll be like, oh man, I finally got my first ace of the year. It's like January 3rd
of the year.
Like, what do you mean first one of the year? Like, I think Robert Burridge posted something about like his 50-something ace in his life, and I'm like, how are you still counting?
How do you keep up with these?
Joseph from another round is counting.
Bro has
how many does he have?
Like
so many.
200 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, he plays on Mickey Mouse courses, okay?
I was going to say, I attribute a lot of that, like the beginning of me not getting aces to like playing in rural Tennessee to like playing down here is very, very different. Like this is also not the case for Eric's ace at all because that's the wooded course here, but two courses here are like, I mean, a majority of the holes are 100% able to be aced, and like out of those 20% are relatively easy aces versus like coming up there was like one hole maybe within 40 minutes of me that was like potentially aceable, right?
Yeah. The two closest courses to my house is Iron Hill and another course called Brantwood and that is like each par 3 averages like 380. It's stupid.
So why haven't you aced?
Because I'm not good. I'm bad.
Just get better.
I'm gonna keep it real. Just got to get better. I will admit, there's one hole that's 30 minutes from my house, or course that's 30 minutes from my house. Hole 4, broken chains. I've hit the cage twice, and I've actually went into the basket and bounced out in a tournament. So, yeah, I mean, there's one hole at that course that's like 200 downhill, and I'm thinking about just going Instagram live and just bringing a bunch of putters. I'm just gonna send it. Like I'm gonna get there on like a Friday morning at like the crack of dawn and just keep throwing.
Bro, I have a lot of motivation to. I've had this conversation since a few more people have picked up an Ursa Nexus. I really would like to be the first person to ace with that disc, or that just seems depressing. So I might need to just go.
I'm gonna buy one and ace.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, now that you told us,
2 of them, and I really want to go and just like knock that out real quick so I can be the first one.
That'll be my goal. The ace with your actually, you know what, that'll be my goal for all of you. Every time all of you, or every disc you guys put out, I'm gonna try to ace with it before you guys.
That is so ratchet, bro.
Feel good moment of the year.
Yeah.
Corey, what part of the United States are you, because we know you're not home, and what's going on?
I don't know how to do this. Usually I can go like, I live here. But like,
you could have Tennessee do pretty decent.
It's Tennessee, yeah. It's Tennessee. I don't know what side of Tennessee am I? I'm near Nashville.
In
again.
the middle.
Yeah, same place that I was, and literally this is the same hotel as last time that I was here. Yesterday it was 60 degrees. I played an 18-hole course.
I saw you wear shorts.
A 9-hole course. Shorts.
You posted a video with you wearing shorts, I thought.
Oh, that was no. So I'm also trying to hashtag
recycle
a short every day, but yeah, I'm recycling.
Whoops, I just outed you. Sorry.
Not really. I mean, if you were an actual fan and watched my content, then you would recognize all of those shots already.
I will say,
I liked one of your OG ones today.
If you're doing a short a day and you don't stockpile clips, you're 1, either insane, or 2, you're Bonanza, and that's your job.
No. Yeah. Or 3, there was 3 weeks of blizzard snow that you couldn't go out and film.
Yeah, facts.
So now I've got a lot of shorts coming because so many things happened at these 2 courses.
That's awesome.
Like,
I'm excited.
It's insane.
Animal encounters.
So, oh man, zombie encounters. Speaking of, I made a joke in not the 18-hole course, but okay. So I played 2 courses in Dixon, Tennessee. The first one is Hensley. It's on a golf course, or it used to be a golf course. Big 18, super fun. And then I had enough time to play the front 9 at Buckner, which this time of year looks so creepy because it's just dead trees. And then you'll see in the video, but I ran into like an apocalypse. Like that's all I can say is
I'm so excited.
Zone. It's so weird. But anyway, I made a joke that I was like harnessing Joseph from Another Round's powers. And then I messaged him and I was like, can you just make a short little video of like you just have an indigestion or something like that? And he's like, yes, of course, give me a second. So then he like, yeah, because I was like, I want to harness the powers. And then I told him, I was like, just make a video where you're like, and like keep walking. And he's like, I will do that right now. So that'll be in the video.
That's awesome.
I'm trying. That's one way I'm gonna try and like branch out, is like reaching other content creators and just asking them for like just a random thing that if you watch my videos, you wouldn't really think was in the video, but it's cool to have like a weird cameo.
My goal is to now be a big enough content creator where completely Corey asked me to take a video of me farting real quick and send it over.
Oh no, buddy, you're getting way better than that. We already have an idea going.
That is true. I forgot about that.
It's I think about that every day.
I was gonna say, you guys working on that or not?
Not yet, because it's still cold in Michigan. Like, I want it to at least be like springtime so that we can like kind of like work together on it separately. But it's gonna be really
It's
fun.
gonna be a good one.
Yeah,
That's cool.
so. What about you, Tyler?
I've played a lot of disc golf. It feels like since it's gotten warmer. I played Friday afternoon, I think, and then I played Saturday with my brother who was in town, because he lives down near Blacksburg, Virginia area. So he was up here and we played together, and I played pretty well. And it was a windy day, but I tried filming some videos yesterday with the new Reach from Birdie and the Cloud Breaker, the last one, and literally the only good throw I had was with that Reach in that video, and that was like it didn't even feel that good, but it looked good. But I was so bad with both the discs. I'm all over the place. And then I was on the way to pick up my daughter from daycare, and I was like, I think I'm not like pulling my elbow through. And then I like stopped and pulled over to this park and just threw it one time with like focusing on pulling my elbow, and I launched it perfect. And I'm like, dude, I spent all day filming, and it was just like one little form thing. So, anyways, my form has gone to hell and back. It feels like all of a sudden, like literally, because I tried throwing a little bit today and it didn't feel good either. So I think I'm just a little tired, which is really sad to say. But yeah, I tried to do something fun with a little battle between the Reach and the Cloud Breaker over 2 holes that are like bomber holes. So we'll see if I can get that video out and whatnot. But I'm just trying to get ready for some tournaments coming up. I got a lot of February 24th, I got a tournament, and then I got 2 in March, and I got another one in April. So I'm just trying to get ready for some tournaments. So I love to compete, so kind of excited about that. But we have an exciting announcement to let you guys know. It has nothing to do with you guys, but it has everything to do with us. We are traveling to Charlotte to play disc golf for the weekend together. Down in May 3rd to the 5th. So May 3rd, a couple of us are going to hit New London on the way down south. Womp, rip Taylor. We wish Taylor could be there with us. He'll be with us in spirit, though. We might just have a cardboard cutout and just carry. Yeah, FaceTime. I think that's better. We'll put you on a tripod with the FaceTime. We'll just carry you around. And then we'll be playing down in Charlotte. So if you're in Charlotte and you see us, holler at your boy. All 2 of you that are watching us right now.
Free signatures. I don't charge for those. So.
That's right. That's right.
Matt does.
You can come. You can come heckle us. So, yeah, we're gonna be down there in Charlotte in the beginning of May. It's gonna be a ton of fun. So we're super excited. So,
yep.
All right, let's get right into it, guys. So, a couple of disc golf news things to bring up. The biggest news, in my opinion, that caused the biggest fuss within the first 24 hours was DGPT's breakup with UDisc. So I'm just going to read the first paragraph of the statement that they made. It says the Disc Golf Pro Tour will transition to a new technology service provider for recording and displaying all live scores and competition stats for the soon-to-start 2024 season. The DGPT will host all live scores and stats on dgpt.com thanks to a live data feed from a new and improved PDGA live scoring platform provided by the Professional Disc Golf Association. The DGPT will work hand in hand with the Disc Golf PDGA technology team, which now includes
I hate all of this.
I know, hold on. Which includes StatMando, the popular disc golf statistic platform with the recently acquired by the PDGA to develop new features, stats, analytics from integration into the Disc Golf Pro Tour scores and stats and Disc Golf Network live broadcast. That's a mouthful.
I'm surprised you didn't say STATMANDO. Because everything else was just letters.
Oh my gosh, dude! There's so many like acronyms and everything, and oh my gosh. So essentially, if you don't know, which I hope you have heard by now, if you're watching this, UDisc and Disc Golf Pro Tour are no longer I should say it like this: the Pro Tour is no longer using UDisc for its live stats, and they've been together for I think 8 years or so. And so immediate thoughts on this, just curious, and I can add more context as we go, but immediate thoughts. Matt, are you upset?
As a
Matt's so
statistics
mad.
guy, I'm so mad, dude. No, I just feel like Statmando does a lot of stuff after the fact, and so now it's going to be their job to do that stuff before, like in the middle of these events happening. And they might do fine at it, they might not. I wonder how much they're getting, like what monetarily happened that made them make this move there, because pretty much all of UDisc has done in the last since it's been around is just improvements on its features for scorecards and stuff like that. And now it's branching out a lot more. So I wonder why that made them mad, or not that would make them mad, but why the change now?
Well, let's break down this. Why did the Disc Golf Pro Tour drop UDisc? Taylor, what do you think?
I mean, in my mind, it comes down to the Pro Tour. It doesn't make sense for the Pro Tour's live scoring to be on another application, another URL, a different domain name. Like, it all needs to be in-house. I think that that's probably the primary pain point, and it's kind of confusing to me. I wish I could be a fly on the wall in like that conversation on the UDisc side, where like that's a big part of your brand identity. I feel like is UDisc Live, and not being willing to, whether it wasn't enough money for them to put it under the Pro Tour's website or something they were upset with. That's the part that really confuses me. I think it's hilarious that everybody's so mad, and like it's funny how much things stay the same in disc golf. Like, this is just like when Steve Dodge went on Smashbox and told Terry and Johnny that they weren't going to do live coverage anymore. This is just like when people are so upset that the Pro Tour is acquiring Jomez because we love, Jonathan and Follow Flight Mike. People like Matt and Josh, people like UDisc, they're not being absorbed. Like, we've seen this story and people get upset we've seen it play out like 6 times now, and nobody remembers in like 3 months. So that part's funny to me. The frustrating part to me is that it very much seems like the product they're replacing UDisc Live with is not ready, or will not be as good of a product initially, which is annoying. I feel like making that move without having something prepared to back it up is not great, but that's also like, we've seen the Pro Tour do stuff like this time and time again. So I don't think anybody should be surprised.
Yeah. Corey, first thoughts and opinions.
My first thought when I heard this was, what? Oh my gosh. And then I got over it because I don't care. Like, so story time. I was at a disc golf course yesterday, and someone came up to me and was like, "Hey, do you know where hole 1 is?" I said, "Yeah, it's really weird. I had to open up UDisc just to find it. It's all the way over there." And he said, "Oh, I don't have UDisc anymore because I have to buy it, and I didn't buy it yet." And I said, "Actually, you don't. You just delete the 10 scorecards." And he said, "What? No way. I didn't know that." So if he didn't even know that, I'm pretty sure he didn't even know there was a live UDisc. So the majority of the people do not care. I think we're in like this weird little bubble where we think that everyone like is so invested like us, and it's not the case.
For sure.
So yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care, guys.
I think the biggest thing for me is that they didn't even give like a beta run of whatever they're going to do. So just imagine if there's an issue with putting in scores. I don't think there would be with putting in scores if they're using PDGA Live, because that's what everyone normally uses. But for displaying and trying to find out information to the public, I wonder if that's going to be an issue. But here's another thought, right? When I go play in a disc golf tournament and my buddies want to like support me, quote unquote, from a distance and like, shoot me a text about how I'm doing, I just send them the link to whatever I'm using for PDGA Live so they can watch me hole by hole. They just can't see any stats. So I honestly don't think there's going to be any issues with trying to follow how everyone's doing live score wise if I'm not watching live. So I don't think this is as much as a big deal as what some people are making it, but immediate comments and immediate gut reaction was like on Twitter was everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, the PDGA PDGA like really screwed up here." And well, first off, it wasn't the PDGA's decision; it was the Pro Disc Golf Tour's decision. But then they were starting to comment about them and saying like, "We've had this good product for so long. Why would you change?" You know, I honestly think that UDisc wasn't there. I don't think their desire is to support the Pro Tour with their scoring. I just think it was like the only tool out there that was decent, and so they decided to merge. UDisc maybe got some screen time with their product to get out there so people would use it more. But like, I think what they really care about is like regular day, everyday disc golfers and providing a good product for them. So I think both parties are going to be happy in the end. I mean, did the Disc Golf Pro Tour go to UDisc and say, "Can we buy you out?" We'll never know unless somebody comes out and says so. But I don't think either party really cared. It was just like the Pro Tour probably was like, "Hey guys, we have a new product now that we're going to do. Thanks so much, but we'll see you next time." And UDisc was probably like, "Cool, now we can get back to making a really good product for everyday users." So
when you say there wasn't a beta run, like,
so I'm saying,
do you for sure know that, or is it just not like?
I would say if there was a beta run of whatever product they're going to, so this is what I'm envisioning, that there's an app or something that they're going to have that we can all follow scoring like somewhere, or at least if they have like a PDGA app or whatever, they're going to put a standings in there or a live scoreboard in there eventually. So I don't think, sorry about that. I don't think that if they ran a beta during the season last year using that and we don't know about it, I think they would have hit it really well. But because I feel like there's no secrets in disc golf, so that's why I think they didn't run a beta.
What do you mean by beta? Like that we didn't get a chance to use it, like as normal people?
No, like using whatever they're going to use to project to the public full scoreboard standings to the public of tournaments. You know what I'm saying?
As a beta, they don't really need to show us yet. Like,
I know, but I'm saying like, I'm saying I know they don't have to. Wait, what are you saying exactly?
Like, I can understand a beta for like something like UDisc would be like the public gets to use it and then give their feedback. As PDGA Live and making this new, they don't really need to, because all we're going to do is open it and be able to view the new features. Those can be done like behind closed doors. I'm thinking like an app. So they could.
I'm thinking like using an app. That's what I'm thinking about.
Well, don't you use the PDGA app for like live when you're
when like I score? Yeah.
So all we know is they could have a duplicate of that and just completely change it. And then the beginning of the season, hey, go on the PDGA app, and then it looks completely different. I guess I'm looking at the word beta as something different than like us being able to get our hands and be like, oh, this is sick. Like we got to test it. That's not really the case with something that is just like a presentation kind of thing.
Yeah. I guess I'm also thinking about stats and any other extra added features.
Well, those are mandatory now.
What do you mean?
Stats.
I am curious, like I listened to Dave Yerkes did an interview on the Upshot, and they talked about the Statmando acquisition. Like, I almost wonder now if they went to UDisc first for like a big part of what he talked about is like they were super excited to use more of the analytics side, not only to drive, live scoring, which is a small piece of why they acquired them, but to do a lot more like deep dive analytics into like where to market more, where to put in new courses, where to target, city councils in underserved areas that don't have access to disc golf. So I feel like that's a lot of also what UDisc likes to do. So that was weird to me that like you hear that and then also like, oh, we're not going to use UDisc anymore, we bought out Statmando. So it almost makes me wonder like if they went to UDisc first and either it wasn't as profitable for UDisc, or they're doing fine enough with their $30 subscription to even use the app, like Corey's friend on the course figured. So
yeah, I think that's also the funny part, is that I have heard some people being confused about like, oh, I don't use that app anymore because they're charging me $30. It's like, well, you can still use it. You just have to, you don't want to be limited to how many rounds you can keep on the score.
Yeah.
So my main question, I mean, we've talked about this a lot so far, but like my main question is this moving the needle forward, or is this a mistake by both parties? Does one party benefit more than the other? Just kind of curious on your thoughts on that.
I think it's pretty neutral.
I agree. Pretty neutral.
I think if anything, the
Yeah,
Pro
I
Tour
don't
probably
really-
saves some money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
Yeah,
And I don't even think UDisc cares about the live.
Yeah. I mean, even if the live scoring platform sucks for like the first two events, they'll get memed on for like 2 weeks and then they'll fix it and people will forget in 2 months.
Yeah, I'm excited to see.
Or what's going to happen is someone's going to say one thing, and the PDGA is going to completely change the live scoring.
It's also true.
And then
we're bringing them back.
Everyone is going to crap talk, and then they're going to have to, revert.
Yeah. I think disc golf's, sorry, just real quick. I just want to say disc golf's really good at like people that run companies become personalities, and this doesn't happen in any other industry ever, where like people know Matt and Josh and UDisc, so they get more mad when like normal business decisions happen, where in like any other industry this would be like, oh, we're changing vendors, cool, on to the next one, see you later.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm really excited to see if Statmando.
I think we should interrupt Tyler.
You know what, Corey? I knew it was coming. I saw your face. I'm like, I know you're going to interrupt me. This is it's just like karma all coming back, because I've interrupted so many times since we've been doing the show. So
Online things.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see what Statmando is going to bring to the different statistics part to the PDGA Live. Definitely. I hope we're able to like see statistics in a more I want to say, this is going to sound weird, but transparent way. Like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of C1X. I'm wondering if there's going to be changing of some statistics. I really hope they do. I wonder if they're going to be putting more people out on holes to kind of give more statistics and scoring features as the season goes on, because I love to know like bounce back rate, which, you know, I'm a nerd when it comes to stats. So I love all the very specific stats. So bounce backs like is a big one for me. Like if somebody were to bogey, you know, how do they score the next hole? Like keeping those kind of statistics. So it'll be interesting to see if Statmando does some work for the PDGA in that sense, where they can have stuff as they play their round. I hope it's like aesthetically pleasing to look at, because I know Statmando's website isn't the most aesthetically pleasing thing to look at, but the stats are incredible and really appreciative to all that he does. So, yeah, hopefully it's a good product, but I don't think this is a very big deal in the sense of like it's going to be an issue either way. I just think that the world of disc golf, what I'm learning is everyone's a traditionalist who's been around forever. But actually, it's really ironic that I say that, because you guys have been around for a long time at disc golf, for like the last decade, and yet it seems like both of you guys are like, moving on, you know, with the products that they create. So,
I have no feeling.
Yeah,
that's
you all the time, Corey.
That's true. I feel like it's mainly that things get so personalized with like companies, which is so weird and individual. Like it's the grassroots part of disc golf or whatever. But I think people need to step back and like realize it's still a business. So, I mean, you have to make the best choices for the business at the end of the day.
It seemed like buying, I think his name is Evan from Statmando, was a lot cheaper than buying UDisc as a whole. So,
I mean, how many subscribers does Statmando have that's paying $30 each?
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, he does. It's all free.
Yeah.
For free. Cool. Matt, anything you want to add?
I just want to say that you just turned me down for my first summer internship last year. So,
wow,
down
so
with
Matt's got bad blood.
I'm on Statmando's side now.
Broken hearted.
One thing I do want to say is that one of the biggest things that we looked at through UDisc is the world rankings. And since we've started this show, we've used Statmando for all of our rankings and all that kind of stuff. So we've been doing things the right way from the very beginning and not been using UDisc. So
their world rankings are surprisingly bad. So
yeah,
you know, I'm kind of surprised though that UDisc has their new rating system. but now it's not even like there's not even a chance for it to get like into full effect.
What do you mean by that?
Like,
what do you mean by that?
Like they have the rated rounds where it's like what 0 to 300.
Yeah. No, I get you there. What do you mean by it doesn't have a chance to come to effect?
Because everyone, like when it first came out, people were thinking that was going to be like kind of a new way of ranking everyone. Like instead of having like 1100 or whatever be the highest like rankings, you'd have like amateurs from 1 to maybe 300, and then 300 plus would be like pros.
Yeah,
or at least that's what I've been hearing, and it's not really going to take effect the way that some people thought it would.
Yeah, no, I read UDisc's full article on this when they brought it out, and I think some people were thinking that way, but the whole reason they aimed for that 300 mark was they were hoping people didn't aim that way. So I think like people were like, that's going to replace it, but even UDisc themselves were like, we really don't think it should, or it's going to be that accurate.
Okay.
But they also said a bunch of stuff about like the model they're using for this and like some like AI stuff, and pretty much every company just likes to throw out the word AI when they're making new technology. So I don't know what, like I tried to dig into more details about like what networks they were using and all that kind of stuff, and just nothing's there.
Yeah.
Can we all just agree that UDisc would be so much better if I could just like add friends and like watch their rounds on UDisc?
Yeah.
So sick.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can look at how your friends did on the exact same course you played. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's got like the leaderboards and stuff, but I'm talking. I want like a full Facebook Messenger in there, man.
Yeah, they need to make it more sociable, like so you can message people and
if you could DM your buddy and be like, you
post your rounds on your wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what we tend to do is like if we know a group of guys are going out, we say, hey, share your card to the Discord channel, and that's what we normally do. But yeah, I know. I wish there was a way to do that. So, okay, cool. Next thing on the agenda to bring up is Jeremy Rusko bought Emporia. I want to make sure I get this right. Community Club. Okay, it's not Country Club. It's Community Club. And it sounds like he's trying to make it into a full facility, not just for disc golf, but for other sports. And I heard he's going to rename it something Landing. Champions Landing. There you go. Mm-hmm. The biggest thing here is that in an article where he had some audio where he was answering some questions, it says Rusko says disc golf and ball golf will be a part of the picture, and although the amount of traffic at Emporia Golf Course may mean some new changes at the Community Club, more pickleball activities, including the possibility of indoor events, are being considered. Rusko is also in discussions with Halfway to Everywhere Incorporated founder Hank Ostrout about upcoming activities. Rusko also says a name change is coming on the way, which I just stated. So it seems like he plans on making this area disc golf oriented, but also it's going to be like, hey, there's pickleball, there's some other things involved. So my big question about this is, does it sound like something where you would want to go spend a guy's weekend, or are there other places more enticing than going to the middle of Kansas to go play disc golf? But you get to enjoy other amenities as well while you're there. Thoughts?
I think that I'm really curious to see if they'll still kick out Paige Pierce for trying to practice at DDO now that Jeremy Rusko owns it.
You imagine if they did a lifetime ban?
No, I mean, I think it's like a last ditch effort for DD because like DDO and the thoughts around the tournament have just tanked the past couple of years. Because I mean, like if you were a fan of disc golf in like 2018 ish, like in that era, like Disc Golf Answerman was huge, DD Media was huge. Emporia was like the place to go. Like that, I remember having conversations with my friends. Like, if you want to do a disc golf guys weekend, you're going to go to Emporia because you see the courses all the time. You know, you pay attention to the players there. I feel like that this is a good attempt to bring that back, but the downside is it's in Emporia, Kansas. So like for us, I would much rather go to Charlotte because there's sick courses and I'm not in the middle of nowhere, right? So unfortunately, I don't think him buying the community club will make it not in Emporia, Kansas. And unless it's like extraordinarily sick, it's not going to be what it once was, very unfortunately.
Yeah, the only thing you've got going for it is I'm looking at it on UDisc now, and you've got like 10 courses. I mean, the dang middle school in Emporia, Kansas has an 18-hole course that isn't even rated that badly. Like, so the only scenario, Taylor's right here, the only scenario where it's really going hard is if the community club is really well put together and you know that you have the option of 5 4.4 and higher rated courses immediately around that area there. So I think they would have to do some really impressive work with the community club to make that happen, though.
Corey, any thoughts?
I'd go.
I mean, I'd still go, but it's not going to be my top choice to go.
No, but
I think I can list off about maybe 4 or 5 other places I go to before I go to Emporia, Kansas.
Maple Hill.
I mean, you could say Maple Hill, and there's a bunch of courses around there, pyramids and stuff like that.
Texas.
You could go up to Stowe, Vermont, and play the 2 courses up there, which I just stayed at during the summertime, and it's a phenomenal place to stay at. One side of the mountain is disc golf. Other side of the mountain is like restaurants and foods and small town. That's awesome. You can go to Charlotte. Sounds like I come up to like, Michigan. I was going to say that next. Michigan or Minnesota.
You guys can stay with me.
Sick, dude.
I feel like wherever Harmony Bend is close to whatever. What is the Eagles Crossing? I always forget the name of that course. Those two are close together, and Harmony Bends is like before Eagles Crossing was like the Eagles Crossing of just like super sick public course. Isn't it like $40 to play at Eagles Crossing?
I have no idea.
Ooh,
I don't know, but like. Here's the sad part is that like last year's turnout for DDO was horrendous. So like there's a lot of theories about like, oh, it's because they didn't hold the amateur event there. So there wasn't a bunch of people who wanted to stick around and watch the tournament. But honestly, I just like the community might be great there for disc golf and that's what they love. But like, I don't know, man, it's the middle of Kansas. No offense. Like I personally don't want to spend my vacation time or my time away from my family to go in the middle of Kansas. Like I want to go somewhere where there's some other activities to do, maybe at nighttime or something like that. And unfortunately, go ahead, Corey.
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Do it. I love it. We need it.
Everyone talks crap about these congested golf course, disc golf courses.
That's true.
And then this place is like just pushed out in the middle of nowhere, secluded. It sounds like it's going to be like at least twice as good as it was now that the disc golf person owns the entire course. And we're talking crap about it.
I think the main problem is like it's not that DDO and the course has gotten worse. It's that the rest of the Pro Tour has gotten better. So there's just more enticing options elsewhere.
Well, that's why they turned the wind up to like.
I feel like that's gonna make me not want to go play there. To be honest.
I mean, my question would be like, what would they need to have for you to go there? And so for me, it's like. I want like
a swimming pool,
dude. Like some sort of indoor water park would be sick. Like if they could have like some mini thing where you could go do that. Like maybe there needs to be like a nice like eating place, like a bar or like a
bar
restaurant
in there would be sick. Yeah. Like if the clubhouse was more of like a disc golf clubhouse, but also like
a hangout area,
like golf course vibes of like restaurant bar kind of thing. Shuffleboard.
Yeah. Scott said if they had an airport there, we would be feeling a lot better.
It'd be easy to get there,
Yeah, Scott said 3 hours to the nearest airport. That's really rough.
Yeah, it's tough.
Are there courses in between the airport and there?
I'm sure there are.
Surely.
Yes.
Surely.
That might be like the thing to do is like hit courses on the way there, play, and then hit courses on the way back.
There just needs to be
your airplane door blown off.
Bless you.
Sorry, fellas.
if they make it like
Bless
a
you,
cool
Matt, in the
hangout
chat.
spot. Yeah, bless Matt in the chat, please. Put a B in the chat for Matt. If they just made it a spot where everyone can come together and like hang out and just do disc golf stuff, like maybe. But I mean, I can go to Charlotte with you guys, hang out, play a bunch of like courses, and then we can go have a beer at like another round and hang out around that area and get some really good barbecue, Carolina barbecue. So
I think it also doesn't help at all that DD does not have nearly the same like public perception that it did, 5-6 years ago.
yeah.
Like I was very surprised. Well, I guess I shouldn't say surprised because I have seen that trend, but like especially the recent like Ulti World fandom survey, like things are not looking hot for Trilogy as a whole, but DD too. It's tough.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother conversation to have, but I would love to know what everyone thinks about that. But I think that's a whole nother.
I think they put way too many eggs in Ricky's basket, and that's about it.
I'm not. Yeah, I can't talk about that because I'm not a big Ricky fan. So it'll just.
Well, Ricky's fine, but you can't invest only in one person.
I don't think he's very marketable. I mean, I don't know.
I think they do a bad job marketing Ricky too. Like they're finally, I don't know if you guys saw, I saw some pictures of a new Ricky driver and a new Matty O driver, but like previously, like they're so late to this where like their old Ricky molds were like, hey, we're going to remake the Slammer and the Fugitive molds that we already took out of production. So
anybody else, like you said Ricky driver and Matty O driver. And the first thing I thought of was like a golf driver. Cause I never like think of when you say like, oh, so-and-so's driver, I don't think of like a disc. That was really weird.
Yeah.
Just a golf guy.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So if you had Charlotte, Stowe, Vermont, Michigan, what was the other place that we talked about? Oh,
I put Preserve
like
up there.
like
Minnesota-ish.
Texas,
Massachusetts. They're going to play Maple Hill.
Yeah, Maple Hill for sure.
And we could do like Texas or Florida. We'll just map them in, and then you have Emporia. Where would you rank Emporia on your list of when you would go there?
Exactly where it was in your list.
What time of the year? What time of the year is it?
We'll say late spring, so like May, June. So it's not too hot yet, but it's like comfortable.
It's definitely at the bottom.
Yeah. So, we'll have to see how it plays out and how they develop it. And maybe Jeremy Rusko has like $1 bajillion for selling his company that we don't really know about. But
yeah, he made some money, but he also invested a lot of it back into just House of
he put it right back into the company. So
yeah, it's weird. I'll finish that up and just say, like, if you had asked me that question in like 2018, I would have said Emporia because I don't know if it was just me. Like, I was a big Disc Golf Answerman fan. Like, I was a big Bobby Robert, like their whole media presence fan. Like, I would have been stoked to go to Emporia, and like that's all just gone.
So then, Taylor, help us out or help me out here. What happened in the last 5 to 6 years? That I'm confused. Then
for me, like, for the most part, those people are just gone, right? Like the people that created that kind of media environment, like Bobby, Robert, Danny, like they're all gone. I have also just heard a lot of dealings with their players and how they kind of let them go. Like, I mean, even that same group of players that were there at the time, you think about Clemens, Eric Oakley, Jordan Castro, AJ Risley, all had some like not great stories to tell leaving DD. Mm-hmm. So like that also kind of pretty heavily affects my perception of the brand. I think there's a lot of people that dislike the whole House of Discs move and investment, which I don't really care. Like that's going to happen at some point in disc golf. It's just kind of, they were the first ones to really buy into it. But yeah, I think there's, for at least those reasons for me is why public perception or my perception of DD is kind of tanked.
So what is what exactly is House of Discs? Is House of Discs a brand that like purchased all of these, or is it like the name of like a combination? Like I know what companies it owns, but was it like Dynamic Discs saying like we should like expand, or was it a company just saying I have all the money, I'm going to buy you?
The latter.
Okay. Well, then yeah, that's kind of sour.
It was a capital investment company, and they just started going in and pew pew pew.
I don't think those things exist.
I mean,
it's a house made of discs.
That's yeah.
But then again, like it's funny that you say that though, because that makes me go back to think about does that like grassroots thinking? Like, don't we say all the time we want like more corporate sponsors in the game, more big players in the game? Doesn't it feel like a big player is coming into the game?
Well, yeah, no, I have nothing against House of Discs, which is really hard to say. But no, I just think it would be DD would have a different perception if it was like them doing it.
I agree.
Instead of someone else coming in and like, we have the monies. Especially
like the Dynamic Disc too, that kind of felt, in my opinion, it's what I've heard, like a family oriented company. Especially out in the middle of Kansas. And then they kind of sold out.
I mean, you even think on org side, like Rusko left, took the buyout. Bjerkis is at PDGA now. Like it's a whole different organization, I feel like, than a few years ago.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something else that is very fascinating that Taylor, you actually brought up in our group earlier this past week. And it's that the I Play For Me sponsorship this year. So Chandler Kramer is another one that has come out and said, oh man, I should have had this up and I don't have it up in front of me. Essentially what he said is, I'm playing for me this year. It's best for me. Oh man, give me 1 second. I'll pull it up. And it seems like, hey, all these people who screwed up with trying to get a sponsorship or at least get what they want, they are kind of stuck. Oh, here it is. If I can pull it up. Oh man,
I got it right here. If you want,
go ahead. Read what he said. His response.
All right. So he said, my manufacturer sponsorship for 2024 is ... nobody. After careful consideration, this year I'm going open bag by choice and choosing to have no manufacturer sponsor. I want to get back to some of the roots and doing things how I want for a year by throwing what I want. Simply put, I'm doing this for me and my love of the game. For those that want to support me on tour, the best way you can do so is by checking out my sponsors. And then he said all that. He's doing it in the bag soon. So
for the rest of us, it's like, AKA, you didn't get a sponsorship of the deal that you wanted, right, Taylor?
Yeah, I think it's I didn't get enough money.
That sounded like you were just throwing shade at Taylor.
I mean, I did say this. Taylor. I have to own it because I said it.
I kind of outed Taylor. Taylor's the one that brought it up on our group, and I was like, all right, we should probably bring this up and talk about it this week.
No, I mean, it sounded like you were
I know.
Taylor, you didn't get this sponsorship.
You did this to Chandler.
Hey, I'm still waiting for my discount code. Don't mind me. I think that we've been knowing that COVID money's drying up and hasn't really been there. You know, nobody's, and maybe except for Eagle, getting like huge sponsorships anymore. And for your fringe players, I mean, no shade to Chandler Kramer. He just hasn't. I mean, he had a couple good finishes last year. He hasn't really proven on a full tour that he's going to be a guy that garners a lot of attention. And I think for people like that, where before a couple of years ago, you could still get a decent contract. Right now, those contracts aren't really there. And I think it's also a juxtaposition of more people just like betting on themselves, of being like, I'm curious to know if like Lone Star offered him a lesser contract and he was like, I'll play better without Lone Star discs, but that's probably a different conversation. Because it's interesting to me that the big tour like Chandler Kramer and Lisa Fakis, who are both previously Lone Star players who are just deciding not to have a sponsor. But I think that it's becoming harder and harder for like your fringe players to get deals, which kind of sucks, but also I am kind of excited just to see what a professional player bags if they're not having, you know, any influence at all on what to bag. Yeah, probably a lot of destroyers.
Yeah, which I'll never understand that, but I'm just looking at Chandler's standings from last year and I see a lot of 20th places and 30th places. So, and from what I heard money wise and points wise, You really don't start getting your money and your points until you're in the top 20. So it sounds like he was right around like middle of the road. I mean, he has like, tied for 12th. I see a 4th, but that was a silver series. So, I mean, he had I wonder, I got a thought just a second ago. I wonder what he was getting from Lone Star, because he had a really good, he had that European Championship Cup run, which put him in the spotlight and like everybody was talking about him. I wonder if he took a load of money from them or not. And then when they dumped him, it felt really bad. And I wonder if he was thinking, man, I should have signed with somebody more safe for more money, more years. I wonder if he had that on the table or not. But
I was messaging him like when he first announced that he was leaving.
Because you guys are cousins, right?
Yeah, he's my cousin.
I forgot about that.
Nope, same last name, different hair. He said it sounded like he left because they weren't giving him any money. And then when I asked where he was looking, he said he had a couple offers, which he could be lying.
Yeah.
He could just say that because, it's a conversation.
Yeah.
And like, oh, don't just wait and see kind of thing.
Right.
And meanwhile, nobody. But I don't know. I feel like maybe he did weigh out the fact that if he has a bunch of smaller sponsors, he doesn't have to bag anything specific.
Yeah.
And he can still get enough money to tour. So I don't know.
I personally
it would be really funny if he was like, my in the bag, and there was just nothing in it.
Hey, you know what? This is your opportunity to really pitch that Marvel to him right now, though.
It's true.
The 2022 Putter of the Year, the Birdie Marvel.
It is.
Yeah.
You don't have one?
No, it's under. So I don't have anything propping my.
I knew it.
Computer up, so it's under. There's like. Well, there's a reason this is empty.
Right.
Multi-purpose. It's not only the 2022 Putter of the Year, it's the 2024 Computer Stand of the Year.
Computer Stand of the Year.
The discs are taking a nice soak from a long, hard day in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hope Chandler Kramer actually just balls out this year. Like, wouldn't that be awesome if he was just like top 10 like every week, and you're like, how in the world? Little fun thing that I just did is I looked him up on the Disc Golf Pro Tour to take a look at his standings. And I don't know if this is recently edited or not, but if you go to their profile, they have driver, mid-range, and putter listed in there as like their main ones. He's got his driver as the boss, mid-range as the buzz, and his putter as the slammer. That kind of seems like a little bit of a troll, but that would be really fascinating if that's actually his disc of choice.
I think one thing also
there's certain times that I feel like I could putt really good with like a zone or something.
Yeah. I think also the funniest part about Chandler is that when I first watched him, like he does a practice backhand throw like as a warm up in his routine, and then he goes right to his like stance for the forehand, and I was like, wait, what the?
Does he, or are you watching him do like a left-handed? Like I've seen him do that, where it's actually his forehand, but he's going like this. That's a good
question.
You know what I mean?
If that's the case, then he's been fooling me with the optical illusion the entire time.
I think that's what it is, because he does kind of like flick with his backhand, but it's his lefty backhand so that he can kind of like get the motion.
Interesting.
I just think it'd be so sick to market Chandler Kramer to be like all of the local AMs that only throw sidearm. Like, look at this guy, buy his disc. So he's got that market cornered, Vince. The anti-James Conrad.
Oh yeah.
And like, what's crazy is that Jake Wolf is getting a lot of attention, and I feel like Jake Wolf is stealing the attention away from Chandler Kramer because of what he does with the overhand. And I think
well, that's even weirder.
You guys remember Matt Dollar?
Yes.
Matt Dollar's game is so sick, so interesting to watch. He throws so Jake Wolf throws all overhand tomahawk weird stuff, but he just does pure power stuff. Matt Dollar does the same thing, except he doesn't have that power, and he just throws super weird finesse thumber lines that I wish he was on more coverage because his game is sick.
I feel like he went away and then came back, but when he came back, he didn't make traction. Because I think he played some DDO, some Midwest ones.
Matt Corder.
That was not a good one, man. That did not land.
I liked it. I laughed.
So like and subscribe.
The best part of all is I hope somebody watches that and they're like, I don't even get what just happened, and they just missed the whole joke.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I had a question here, but we're kind of already talking about it. I just said Matt the Dollar. Yeah. I mean, is this going to be, my thought is, are guys who 2 years ago, are they regretting signing short-term contracts?
I don't know if they're regretting signing short-term contracts as much as they're thinking that they're going to continue to get COVID money, and they're not. And they're like, well, I know my worth. And then they don't know their worth.
Worth's a little different now.
Because, okay. So I was just looking at Chandler Kramer's post, and someone asked in his comments, why not Infinite or OTB? And he said, Infinite is included as a manufacturer sponsor. OTB is a retail sponsor, and I already have a different retail sponsor. I want to be 100% open bag this year rather than partial open bag. I don't know how many Infinite discs you're required to bag as an Infinite Pro. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. One, bro, just throw it in there. You don't even have to throw it so, and then to be I'm going to be 100% open bag. But yeah, actually I do have a retail sponsor, even though I just said I wouldn't want OTB as a retail sponsor. It's bro just kept expecting an offer to come on the table that didn't come on the table, brother. And that's what happened. But that's and you look, and I'm reading through a lot of his replies right now. He's just saying some weird stuff in when people ask him logic questions.
It'd be really funny if he actually did try and get almost every manufacturer, but they walk in the room and they see his hair and they're like, sorry, we're a little conservative with hair dye. And then that's it.
I feel yeah, it's so weird to me because I feel like if you have an offer and worst case they just give you some random Tour Series disc, that has to be better than nothing, right? You got to be getting what $5-6 a disc off a Tour Series disc. If you're gonna bet on yourself, you got to bet that you can also sell some plastic. I feel because that's how you make money in disc golf anyway.
Yeah, well, he said he's trying to do his own custom runs somewhere along here, but
it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not quite the same there.
I don't know. It's just weird how a lot of people either got last minute deals or I don't know. There are a lot of short deals going on. I wonder if the disc golf companies are really feeling out the market, so they're only looking to go short term for a while too. So it'll be interesting to see and navigate how disc golf kind of works in the next 5 years. Are we really plateauing right now, or are we on the brink of booming?
Well, what do you mean by plateau? Money wise?
I would say growth. Are we plateauing growth and money? You could say as well.
No, I think short term deals are I think the reason manufacturers are doing that is because there's so much new talent, and they don't want to lock in someone that's possibly not going to do well on tour and then end up just kind of disappearing, or no one actually remembers them when there's 16, 17, 18-year-olds that are placing. So yeah. What's your question, Taylor?
I'm going to save it for another episode.
It got so quiet.
Save it for another episode. Wow.
That's a good topic.
What do you
for
mean?
Episode.
You can't throw it out.
Blue ballless.
You can't throw it
I have
out there.
no impulse control. I can do whatever I want.
Nice.
Me neither.
Hey, listen, I could also say, so Lisa Fakis was the other name. If you've been checking, that doesn't have a sponsor, if you've been checking the dollar disc golf auction, she has been selling Innova stuff like nobody's business. And it'll be a Firebird, an Innova team stamp Firebird. The first
$100.
Yeah, $60
Bro,
is the
people
first
go
bid.
wild
And
for
it
some of the
runs-
team stamps. It is insane
Yeah.
to me.
She just put an AVR 3 on there, instant $30 within 3 minutes of her putting it up there. Like, and she's just been doing that like crazy. She's just been
She
selling
hurting?
off. Maybe, I don't know, but she's just been selling off like insane amounts of stuff in such a short period of time.
This is what I feel bad about. Okay, and I'm not comparing the talent when I say this, but you got Aaron Gossage and Chandler Kramer. And I feel like Aaron Gossage, they know how to market him because of his last name, and he's been playing really, really well, right? Almost won a world title. Chandler Kramer almost won European title-ish. Maybe not as close as Aaron Gossage. And I feel like the personality of Chandler Kramer is very marketable for a company. And I wonder if there's some missed opportunity there for Chandler to represent himself and tell companies that, or people like really just don't care. Like, I feel like Chandler Kramer is so much more marketable than another person who's ranked in the 30th or 40th spot in the world, because we all know Chandler because of his forehand and because of his hair and because of his style. So
Are you considering that his personality?
What? His
hair,
his
and
look,
his style. Yeah. Because like personally, I haven't seen enough to like see a personality, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like the difference between him and Goose is like, one, I love Goose, but two,
oh really?
I see him in so many YouTube videos, and he's just like passionate about weird things like layout
D&D
of a course, and yeah, like just like weird things like that. And I think that's what people like about him, is because he's talking like he's a kid in a candy store.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really know anything from Chandler Kramer besides for like an in the bag.
So like an example, right? Evan Smith is 39th from last year's standings. Chandler Kramer is 35th. But yet, if I asked you and I gave you like a couple pictures of guys and I said, which one's Chandler and which one's Evan Smith, I feel like more people are more likely to know Chandler Kramer than they are Evan Smith.
Well, yeah.
But is that just time?
To Matt's point, is that just the fault of the manufacturer, like his sponsors as well? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Hey, Prodigy's been putting out the Ezra stuff. I love it. It's a callback to previous episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and you could also say like Gavin Babcock is 36th, but it's because he's got more social media stuff going on and he's in the right friend group. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I hope Chandler plays well this year. I hope he figures it out, and I hope somebody sees some value in him and he gets his worth, or gets his, I don't know what you would say, gets his bread or whatever you could say.
Get the bag.
So, all right. I hope we haven't gotten too sleepy yet, because we need to talk about this. I was saving it for the middle of the episode. We're kind of like middle of the end of the episode. But today we had a discussion.
I'm so ready.
And I said, gosh dang it, Matt, shut your mouth and save it for the episode. So Matt came on and so anyways, let me give some backstory for the people. Luna and Kratos, same flight numbers. Some people are saying it's the same flight. Some people, majority of the people, are saying different flight, a little bit more overstable. Now, we know the Luna does not fly like a flight numbers of the 3303. And we do know that the Kratos flies more like the 3303. At least in, I would say, my opinion, and I think with what we've seen on the internet, I think most people would agree. So Matt thinks that Discraft has to change the flight numbers of the original Luna. So Matt was making some comments saying that I think this is correct, Matt, that the value of the old Lunas might be going through the roof in the future if the Luna's flight numbers gets changed. So Matt, do you think Discraft is going to change the flight numbers? And go ahead, and I'll let you and Corey have the floor because Corey disagrees. So, Matt, go ahead and say what you want to say about the flight numbers with the Luna and the Kratos. Corey, your turn in a minute.
Okay, can I ask a question?
We're back
from
on
someone
debate
who's
night.
been
Let's go.
here someone who's been here in the disc golf scene for a while. Did the Lunas previously have a different flight number that was changed?
Prototypes. No. The prototype was.
What did the prototype have on it?
3402.
Okay. So
that is actually more accurate. I don't know why they changed it to a 3303.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my reasoning. Do I think there are so many Lunas out there? Do I think the price will go up for pre-flight change numbers Lunas? Probably not a ton, but I do think people will try to use it as a marketing tactic to make the price go up. Like if you look at Dollar Disc Golf Auction right now, you will find a dude who will put a paragraph about selling a 10-year-old Star Destroyer that's about to fall apart, and he's like, the Star Destroyer is the top distance driver for all pros. And when they're on, I guarantee this will exist from here. Now, given this, I think it is absolutely the responsibility of Discraft that they have to change the flight numbers of one or the other, and the Kratos has to fly more stable than the Luna because the Kratos has a bead, and if the Kratos has a bead, that means it has more drag, and if it has more drag, it means it slows down quicker. If it slows down quicker, it's going to end up fading left quicker. Like there's logic here that runs through it. Now, I don't know. Discraft just posted this, and Infinite doesn't have it on. So Infinite most of the time, and let me make sure that's true, but Infinite most of the time.
I will say real quick, I just looked. The cheapest I can find a Proto Luna with those flight numbers on eBay is $50.
So you did see the flight numbers at 3402, right?
I did. I thought that was cap, but it's not cap.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So what I'm saying here is already on Discraft's website, and this could be from the previous one. Already, it says, what does it say here? It says, you may have noticed the flight numbers on the Luna have been updated. This is to better reflect the true flight of the Luna. The disc mold has not changed. Now, the flight numbers are still the same because they're all graphics that go in after the fact. And I don't think this is from the Proto Run because if I go far enough back on my Wayback Machine, it doesn't show it. So I'm assuming they've changed that to write it in there. And they are going to change the flight numbers now, considering the Kratos is the exact same flight numbers. So I don't think it'll be that crazy expensive, but I do think they would be idiots to not change the flight numbers.
So do you think? So Matt, let's just get this clear. Do you think Discraft is going to change the flight numbers of the Luna?
I think they should. Yeah. And by this comment on their goodness, I can't talk, on their website, I would say they're planning on it, unless that's from the test flight runs. And if the test flight runs indicated they should write it as more stable, that's crazy.
Okay. Corey?
And change it to 3204.
Yeah.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yep.
They're not changing anything.
Why not?
Why would they? It's everyone that I've talked to that has thrown it says it flies pretty much identical. It might fly slightly more overstable, but not enough to consider it a different disc. And the thing about a bead is this is a Luna with a bead. This isn't a Luna and a bead. So it's the same dimension, but instead of it rounding at the end, it just goes boop, boop. So it's not, it wouldn't change the flight.
Yes, it would. There's more.
How?
It is the way that the air moves around the disc has changed. And with a bead, historically, you can see this in the Rock and the Rock 3, very similar molds. The Rock 3 is more overstable. The Rock 3 has a bead because the way that the...
Do you have both of those right now?
I don't have them both right now. I've thrown both the Rock and the Rock 3. They've both been in my bag.
Is the bead on top of the Rock or underneath the Rock?
Yeah, where else would a bead be?
Is it Rock plus bead? Or is the bead where the Rock would be?
Okay.
Because what I'm saying is the Luna, the Kratos. It's not the Luna, the Kratos. That's what I'm trying to say is the bead doesn't make it deep.
All right, let me hit you with the second example. Innova's has made it. The Rock X3. It's what you're saying. It's a straight chunk across. So the Rock X3 versus the Rock 3. Straight chunk across. The Rock X3 is more stable than the Rock.
Okay, how big is the bead?
It's not a bead. It's just a continuation, as you're saying.
So it's just a deeper rock?
Yeah.
Is it more overstable?
Yep.
There's more body to it.
What are you? There's more body to the Luna. Then what are you talking about? Body? What are you?
No, there's no There's no extra body to the Kratos. If you take, hold on,
Bro is smoking.
Hold on, real quick, while Corey comes back. Hold on. What's fascinating though is that there's the Challenger and the Challenger SS, and I'm just wondering, are they the same dimensions, but the Challenger SS has no bead?
I don't know that. I have a strong feeling that it is slightly
All right.
deeper.
I'm going to the board.
With the
TryDisc. TryDisc.com. Keep going, Corey.
All right. So what I'm saying is, if this was a Luna,
Yes.
the Kratos is the same, but with a little bead at the bottom.
Yes.
And most of that is just for feel. Now it would be different if it was Luna plus a bead at the bottom. Does that make any sense to you?
No, bro. You are. You're making me.
Basically, what I'm saying is they took the Luna and they shaved it up and then added the bead to be the same dimension.
Yep.
Okay.
So it doesn't fly
So
that
you're
much.
not.
It's
Okay.
the same height.
It's the same
Yeah,
height.
they didn't
I thought you were
add
saying-
a bead at the bottom.
Okay.
They,
The specification that they shaved up and then added something else back on makes more logical sense than it's a continuation of the disc.
It still makes it more stable, though. The bead makes it more stable.
I mean, it depends on the size of the bead, too.
My beads are pretty big.
I'm just saying, I've thrown a Link and I've thrown a PD and I've thrown a P2, and in my opinion, it's like the Link is a P2 with a bead, and the Link is definitely more stable than a P2. That's my only input into this fight. I don't even care about flight numbers, but Matt thinks that Discraft has done a disservice to the public, and now they need to change their flight numbers for the Luna.
But I'm giving you a metric that it looks like they are. Their website says that the flight numbers have been updated to reflect the true flight of the Luna. Now, if that's from way back, maybe that's understandable, but that's all the way back from prototype days, back in whenever the Luna was released. So I would assume on Discraft's description,
Before Matt was born.
if that's the case, then they're probably going to kick it around and make it a little more accurate.
The one thing I'll say, the Challenger and Challenger OS. Oh, wait, I need to look up the Challenger SS is what I need to look up. Because that is the one where they would take the bead off of. So the Challenger SS, the height of that is 2 centimeters. The height of the Challenger is 2.2, which makes sense because that's an added bead to it. So it sounds like they just took the bead off, and then it becomes a Challenger SS, which means less stable because the Challenger.
And then on a Challenger OS, there's more bead, which makes it more overstable.
I actually think the Challenger and the Challenger OS are the same height. I just looked that up, and
but more bead. That's what I'm saying. Like if you look at a Challenger, it's not actually a bead. It's like an extra, like it's not the shape of a bead.
I felt one recently. I know what you're saying. I know.
Yeah, but then the OS has like the full circular bead on the bottom,
which is so fascinating because it's actually the same height as the SS. The OS and the SS are the same height. The rim depth is a little less on the SS, which makes sense, and the rim configuration, which is like the bluntness, is a lot more on the OS. Actually, it's exact same. Never mind, I lie. So it's just interesting because people are calling the Luna OS. So
you mean the Kratos, the Luna OS?
I mean, I'm sorry, they're calling the Kratos the Luna OS.
Well, who is?
AB.
The people.
I think AB called it that in one of his videos.
I can see him saying that just because of how hard he throws.
If you watch him throw it,
does
it's more stable.
Yeah.
Didn't Drew also say this though in his video?
I have no. Oh, he did. He did.
He compared the pace in the Kratos, and he said, yeah, they're probably pretty similar in stabilities. I think he said the Kratos is maybe a tiny bit straighter than the pace.
Listen, I can level with you on this. Is that I think the B definitely makes it more stable, in my opinion. But should they change flight numbers and go through all that mess? No, just leave it the way it is.
And also, like so everyone saw that file name. It said Luna, or it says beaded Luna.
Beaded Luna.
It didn't say Luna OS. It didn't say like modified Luna. It was just adding the bead. Some people like the feel of a bead.
Oh, they've already said, didn't the first run of Lunas that they brought to the Expo or whatever, the core of the mold Luna was embossed Luna, yeah, because it's the same mold. Yeah. It's just with a bead on it.
They don't have Kratos and Tridis yet, but Kratos. I'm
curious if Paul wanted a beaded Luna, because I feel like Paul's never putted with a beaded putter.
No, Paul wanted more money.
We all know that.
And guess what?
Relatable.
Guess what? Now he's got the entire market.
Real. We'll have to see when we throw them both. We'll see and compare.
I just pulled up the Luna and the Kratos specs. The height of the Luna is a 2. The height of the Kratos is a 2. And the height and the rim depth of the Kratos is a 1.4, and the rim depth on the Luna is 1.4. So the dimensions haven't changed. It's just they just put a bead on it, and they kept the same dimensions.
Which is what I was trying to tell you, Matthew.
Bro is.
There's a difference. There's a difference between adding a bead and
adding a bead.
Just having a bead.
And actually, what's really fascinating is that the rim configuration is a lot more blunt on the Luna than it is the Kratos. So the Kratos should theoretically slice through the air faster than the Luna. It's almost identical in the specs. I'm just kind of going back and forth, but so
what you're saying, I wonder if they made it a little more aerodynamic.
Wait a second.
Bead.
Rock and Rock 3 are the exact same, bro. Rock and Rock 3 are the exact same. The height and the rim depth are both the exact same for the Rock and the Rock 3.
Doesn't that support Corey's theory, though?
No, because we know the Rock 3 is more stable than the Rock.
Oh, that's what you're saying. But hold on.
Yeah, but compare the...
Look at the rim configuration. That matters.
Why is everyone yelling?
What? You just said the rim configuration. You just said the rim configuration.
The Rock 3 is just a flat rock, though.
Compare the thickness of the bead of the Rock 3 and the Kratos. The Kratos has a smaller bead, I think. The Rock 3's bead is like fat.
But I'm telling you, I'm looking at
fat. It's just larger than other.
I'm looking at the height and rim depth, and it's not. It's the rim configuration.
When I put it in my hand, I'm like, ooh, that ass.
Rim configuration is the same. What is up with this? Actually, wait. Inside rim diameter. What is going on here?
But back to what I was saying. I wonder if they took the Luna and made it a little more aerodynamic to make it understable, and then added the bead to put it right back to where it was. So it is 3303. Like they were like, oh, we want to add a bead so we can sell to the other side of the market, but we want it to fly identical to the Luna. So we have to like slightly alter it to, I wonder, that's probably what they did.
Yeah. Do you guys actually, do people that putt with beaded putters like hate beadless putters and vice versa? I feel like I don't care. Like,
yeah, I think it's like Android.
No, I've tried to putt with a beaded putter and it sucks. Yeah, and I've tried to throw and it's
that's the Android Apple thing.
Yeah. It just
you either love or hate one or the other.
It gets stuck on my finger. I go back and forth for fun, but I prefer no bead.
I change how I grip a putter if it's beaded or beadless though.
Yeah, I agree with you, Taylor.
Like, do you put your finger like more like on the rim if it's beaded? Oh, here we go. Now Taylor's grabbing discs. Now we're going.
Do you guys
Now we
put
can talk
your
about my
finger,
swirly new
like,
putters.
hooked around?
See, if it's beadless,
hook it
I keep my
around?
finger up top, and if it's beaded, I'll like curl that into like this first little knuckle right here.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
This is what we do right here.
that's so.
Oh no,
cool.
I got my finger
Or
up
you go
here
like
on a
this?
beadless putter.
No, I was looking at
Oh.
I was looking at his little finger flick thing. Yeah, right there on that little flat spot. That's how you do it.
Not like this. That's how I put a beaded putter.
That's what Gannon does.
Yeah, that's aggressive.
No.
That's an aggressive grab, though.
That's what
Yeah.
they know me for.
You know, never mind, I'm not going to go there. Okay, so interesting. Taylor, who won? Who won that argument?
I don't know. Actually,
I'm gonna say just I'll wait and I'll buy a Kratos.
I'll say for
compare
both
it to a brand
sides,
new Luna.
I feel like the Luna's flight numbers are cap for sure. So
Yeah,
I'm
everyone
with Matt
agrees
on
on
that
that
one 100%. I'm curious to see.
Depends.
I'm curious to see, like, I was looking at this myth versus the alpaca, and it's like the profile is very similar. This just has a bead. And I do feel like historically the myth flies more overstable than an alpaca. So maybe
So
I'm
why
on
do you
Matt's
guys
side.
think the Luna flight numbers are wrong?
Because it flies so straight for so long. It does not have a very strong finish at the end of its flight. Like I can throw a Luna and go really straight, and it goes straight down, and there's like no fade.
So when you throw a Luna, do you think to yourself, "Oh, this is a zone that's a little slower"?
The first time I picked up a Luna, I automatically had a preconceived notion. When I throw this, it's going to be a slow fading putter shot. And when I threw it on a little bit of hyzer, it barely faded. And I was like, what? And then I started throwing it more flat. And then it started going straight to almost a little understable. And I was like, I'm so confused here. Like, what is going on?
Did you putt with them?
I put it with Lunas for a long time. Last year I did.
So from 60 feet away, where did you throw it?
In the basket every time.
Did you throw it directly at the basket, or did you throw it out to the right?
When you putt with it, you have to throw it a little more out to the right, because what it does is it floats on you very
It fades.
long, but it fades at the end very hard when you putt with it.
Oh,
But when
very
you
hard,
throw
like
it-
a 3, maybe.
like a 3.
Corey,
Yes.
If I have
But-
200,
But by the way, flight numbers are when you throw that thing.
Numbers are a lot.
And when you throw that thing,
putter. It's a
It is-
putter.
I'm just
It is a
saying,
putter,
you
but when
can't
you
say the
still throw
zone
it,
is
it is not a
4303 and a
three-fade.
Luna is 3303.
yeah,
One
bro,
of
I knew
those is
that-
wrong.
You can.
I knew the
I mean,
Luna
you
was
can,
capped when
but-
I could barely throw 225 feet, and I threw a Luna, and it flipped up and rode flat for me out of hyzer, and I was like, "Huh?"
Scott is absolutely
That's
right
when I
that
knew.
Discraft won. Discraft
Yeah,
wins.
You got me there.
all I'm going to say is that if the flight numbers
got
on a
me.
Luna were 3402 when I first bought them, I would be putting a lot better with them earlier than me thinking in my brain, I need to throw this a little bit more out because it's going to crash really hard. When if I put zip on it, it just floats into the basket. So I struggled for a long time when I first got Lunas because of the flight numbers.
So the Luna was a modified Roach. The Roach is 2401.
And I wish I knew that when I first got Lunas, but I did not know that.
Well, you should have paid attention. So
True.
2401.
This is true.
2401, I would say the Roach is very, very to the flight numbers. It is glidey. I tried putting with them. I would just shoot them right over the basket.
I agree.
I wasn't doing that with the Luna. So I think when they did 2402, they did the whole thing where they were like, all right, let's give them to a handful of people, see what they say. And then they compared them. And if you're comparing it to the Roach that already existed, it didn't have the glide that the Roach does, but it had a lot of fade at the end, especially for circle 2 putting, which is what like Paul Macbeth is known for, is like just throwing it out to the right and just watching it crash into the basket.
So what you're telling me is we're bad all the way from the Roach.
No, I think they adjusted accordingly to what they looked at, And it depends. Okay, what is another 3303 disc?
A breaker,
I was gonna say a breaker.
which is very stable.
Okay. Now
I threw a breaker once and I didn't think it was that overstable, and I hit a building.
That might be why it's not as stable now.
So are you guys comparing the Luna to the breaker or the breaker to the Luna?
The breaker has a slight bead on it, for what I know, right?
No. Historically, like in your mind, are you saying the Luna was first or the breaker was first in your head? Because I threw the Luna, and I said, okay, now that is the benchmark 3303. Everything else is compared to that. It sounds like you guys are comparing the Luna to other things. I got a Luna. It's all perspective.
I got a Luna. I threw it. I expected it to have a stable finish. It went straight. And I said 3303, but it went straight when I threw it. And I know I don't have arm speed. What does 303 this mean?
Did say don't trust a hoe. Don't trust the Luna's flight numbers.
Real.
I'll just say this as my closing statement for this argument is I threw and putted with PA1s, which is a 3302 flight numbers. And when I throw that, it is more stable than a Luna. And I threw the PA1 and I threw the PA1 first. Then I started throwing and putting with Lunas. And I was like, why am I missing this right all the time compared to my PA1? And then someone told me after like 6 months, it's a roach, putt with a roach. And I'm like, no, it's a Luna. And they're like, no, tell your brain it's a roach. And as soon as I did that, I was cashing putts because I was thinking it's straight. It's just when you get to circle 2, that's when it becomes more of that 3 fade. I would agree it does fade harder, definitely from circle 2. I would say this. They're not going to change the flight number, so Matt, you lose that argument, but are they 2 different like flights and is one more stable than the other? And are the flight numbers wrong on a Luna? In my opinion, yes. The original ones that they used, I agree. Those are the flight numbers, but they'll never change and they shouldn't change. Just keep it the way it is because it keeps everyone having this discussion and it makes the game more fun anyways.
Understandable.
There it is.
Works for me.
More important things. The All-Star Weekend is coming up. We can all agree that the All-Star Weekend is
much fun. It's so good.
Is not something that everyone. It's like I'm trying to give a good example of it. It's like you have to hype yourself up to like the event because it's the first thing of disc golf we get to watch since October. So they do all these interesting things. They do like a team event where there's like skill competitions and everything like that. So my big question is, if we had to redo the entire All-Star Weekend, what do we want to see at the All-Star Weekend?
Bring in Fergie.
I want to see a little bit of the putting games. I want to see a little bit of, I don't know how this would work, but some kind of flag football.
Yes.
I'd like to see, no. Don't say flag. Don't say flag football.
Yes,
I'd like to see
contact.
I want our best pros to destroy themselves before the start of the
tackle ultimate.
That's exactly what the PDGA wants to do to their product: is destroy half the field of the best players.
No, I think we need some weird things. Like when they did the putting games in the water park and they were going down slides and trying to make putts. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. Because it doesn't need to be disc golf. It just needs to be like
entertaining.
Yes. Shuffleboard, but with discs. So you're just
like that
launching them. Yeah.
I'm just thinking like one of the things I get excited about is like distance competition can be fun. I wish they would have something like, I just watched a little bit of the Pro Bowl this weekend, and they had like the quarterbacks trying to throw and like hit targets like really quickly. I wish they would have something like that for disc golf where they had to like throw through some hoops or try to hit like moving targets or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what?
They should do like a Top Golf field.
But yeah, something like that.
You know what seemed a little more all-star than the actual all-star?
What's up?
Was that video that Ezra Aderhold made where they were just chucking at
the clowns.
That was so cool, and that's
Yeah.
what you need.
Yeah.
I also really want to see a long distance skip challenge
Oh, I like that.
where you have to just they have a border to where you can't hit, like you have to go underneath something, but then as far as you can, and yeah, you could do like a Top Golf
I like that.
style.
I think it'd be cool too
so
if they
cool.
did like take 60 feet and like stack 9 baskets in like a grid, do like tic-tac-toe, but with like 60 footers. That would be cool.
Yeah.
I wish
Scott in the
I
chat
want it to
said
be
they need a dunk contest.
A dunk contest.
I would it. They always try to make it like more team based, and it's always like so confusing. Like I want the team based structure to make more sense, and like the accuracy challenge they did last year, where it was like throwing through 2 strings on trees and stuff, like that was terrible. I hated that so much.
You know what would help with a team base kind of thing? Matching T-shirts,
And if they played football instead,
like blue barracudas and purple parakeets,
orange iguanas, baby.
Yeah,
Orange iguanas.
They got some horse putting would be sick too. Scott just said the trick shot / horse challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, Simon just
I think we need
clears
to
everybody,
create an
but
all-star. We need to create an all-star event.
That'd be
40
awesome. Let's
40
do
yard
an
dash.
all-star event for like the
One
crew.
where the years start coming and they don't stop coming.
Yeah. There you go. That's
Man, that's a song from the '90s.
I've heard this song.
Okay,
what's
cool.
the band name?
All right.
What's the band name?
He watched Shrek, guys. It's
Smash
okay.
Mouth.
It's what?
No, not. I haven't watched Shrek. Wasn't allowed as a kid.
What's the band name?
That's real though, guys. What do you want from me? They played it at all.
That's kind of nuts. That's kinda nuts.
My mom heard it had one bad word in it, and that was it. It was GG on Shrek.
The best part of Shrek is that they go up to like the little dolls and it introduces
Yes.
Dulot and it goes wipe your face, and they bend over and moon you, and then they say something about watch your shoes on the grass,
Brush your teeth.
wipe your, and it shows their butts and they go face, like they're gonna say a different word, but
Yep.
Have you
oh,
watched
man.
Shrek since then?
No.
Yeah, you're missing out, man.
Reason to.
It doesn't.
Dude,
come
you
on
need
my
to
The
watch
list.
reason
Shrek.
you think the Luna and the Kratos are that much different.
I'm pre-ordering one ASAP, Corey,
Dude,
from
growing-
foundationdisc.com.
I thought you said he's pre-ordering Shrek. I was like, bro, it's been out.
Growing up, we used to always wake up and say, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
I'm making waffles.
And Matt's like, wait, what?
Not me.
Oh man,
I'm built
sorry,
different, bro.
Matt. And you know what they need to do? They need to legit go to Simon and say, Simon, how do we do this All-Star Weekend? And let him just figure
Just
it
let
out.
him cook.
'Cause I feel
Everything's a slow-mo tournament.
well, dude, the man's been preparing for this tournament. Like he's trying to like throw Heiser and Heiser straight in the baskets. He's trying to hit like small gaps as wide as your arm span, in all his videos and everything. Like he's ready to go.
They should do a disc height challenge. Like how at the X Games and stuff, they do
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
at the very end of the mega ramp is like however high you can get
yeah.
off of the quarter pipe. They should do one where you're just throwing as tall as you can. And then they'll just have markers like up there.
And then we send Simon Lazat down the quarter pipe and just let him rock.
Yeah.
Matt, were you gonna
What's their
Matt-
did they ever decide a name
for what?
for the MVPs?
Oh no, they haven't. I don't
They're
think
working-
so.
they're working
And
it.
MVPeeps is probably the thing that's sticking because that's what Eagle says all the time. Matt, were you gonna say something? I don't remember if you finished your statement.
We got off
Oh,
on
It
yeah,
Shrek
doesn't
a
matter.
little
He's
bit.
never watched Shrek. It doesn't matter.
No,
It doesn't matter. Taylor, silence him.
I
Taylor,
think there's a
mute
lot
him.
of funny
No.
stuff they could do, and
Mute
they're
Matt.
not
You should
doing
mute
it.
Matt. Taylor, you should mute Matt. He's never watched Shrek. You should mute Matt. You should mute him right now. Mute Matt. Do it.
Brother. No, I just don't think there's that much. I don't know. They could be doing so many more cool things, and they're not doing anything, bro. You watch it, and you're like, "What is that? Did someone TP those trees? Why are they throwing through them?"
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we have.
I think the title of this episode is going to be Matt has never seen Shrek.
It's gonna be just awful for click through rate.
People are going to try to figure out what does that have to do with disc golf. That's crazy, man. We'll have to discuss some other things you haven't seen because I know for a fact you haven't seen Harry Potter then.
No.
Yep, I knew it. But you have seen Lord of the Rings.
Yes, I think I have.
Okay.
I read all the books. I was a big book reader, so I read all the Lord of the Rings books.
You had to have. I can guarantee it. Well,
wait, is
I tell
Corey
you what.
it?
I think we. What?
No, don't worry about
it. Nothing. Continue, Tyler.
I feel like we have to end on that note. I mean, my mind is like fried.
Then we're just gonna live stream Shrek from this channel.
Listen, I lived in a very conservative household as well, but I never was restricted from watching Shrek, so that took me for a loop real fast.
I just never cared about it, man.
I'm fried. My brain is fried after that. So, let us know in the comments what movies did your parents not let you watch as a kid, and then also probably put that in the chat so Matt can start stocking up and going through those movies because he probably didn't watch those as well. So, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you're hanging out with us live, thank you so much for sticking around. Like the video, tell a friend, like and subscribe. And we got a big episode next week coming up because it is right before the disc golf season kicks off. We'll probably have some predictions coming up for the season, so we're super stoked about that. So just going to shout out Foundation. You can go to foundationdisc.com where you can get all your disc golf needs. And guys, we'll see you next week for the next one. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
Bye.